It's going to be fun, dude. I think what we're doing here is good. Talking about it, talking about cannabis and making sure that we still stay in the loop with the community. And this is sort of our way to continuously stay in that loop.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely going to help us, and it's going to help establish like who we are. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You bring it into the light, talk about it. And...
Oh, dude, I like that. Hey, everybody. How's it going? My name is Gabe. I'm real excited to be here. This is...
my name is Robert.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dang. I wanted to go by Rob on the podcast.
Oh, man.
Robin, yeah, I'm Rob. Glad to be here, part of the Socials podcast.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, this is a podcast just based out here in OC. We just started today, #1 podcast, man. I'm excited. This is a whole new thing, We're just here to simply talk about what Socials is and what this podcast is. Let's just start off right there. Let's just talk about what Socials is. To me, Socials is a lifestyle brand. We're here to bring cannabis into the light of society and let people know, hey, more people smoke than you think, And with that, not enough people are talking about it. And I feel like that's something society needs to talk about, especially with the legalization and everything that's going on. So yeah, like this is our podcast. I got nervous right now. Dang.
No, it's all right. The whole point of us being here is just to talk about cannabis, talking about legalization, talking about the community behind it.
Yeah.
And, because we feel that there is a stigma around cannabis and cannabis users and,
Definitely.
From people that just, maybe take one puff a year on 420 or something like that to, the people that are using every day and, enjoying and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like people need to realize that there's a spectrum to things, and there's a lot of very productive members of society that use, whether it's occasional or whether it's often.
Yeah.
And so we're here to kind of try to help erase that stigma and talk about how, cannabis can be part of your life without like being your life, right? This is why, we chose that Socials Lifestyle. Follow us on Instagram.
Yep.
Shout out.
At Socials Lifestyle.
Yeah, because cannabis can be part of your lifestyle without being your entire lifestyle, right? And that's how the majority of users are, I think, at least in my experience.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of people out there that you talk to, and just talking about cannabis can help build that relationship. And we want to show that cannabis can help build social interactions and maintain human relationships. That's all we're about. So this podcast, right now it's just me and Rob right here, but eventually we want to get people on here talking about it, expressing their feelings and their experiences as well, both on a business and a personal level. Whether that be cannabis influencers, cannabis companies, people in distributing, growers, farmers,
really
etc.
just anybody in the industry that can share their perspective on things, because everybody's coming from a different place. And
exactly. Or anyone who's interested in getting in the industry. I think there are a lot of people who want to get into cannabis but don't know how to. We were at that point one time, and we definitely networking with other companies has helped out a lot, I'd say, as far as how we've gone to get from starting. We started last year, I think April of 2018.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think
so it's looking like a
time.
year. Yes, man, it's crazy. It's been 1 year, but it's been a nice ride. We've done a lot of things. We hope to do more. I know that right now we've been kind of MIA in the cannabis community. We've both been busy on our personal lives. I just recently got a new job, so just
Congrats
working with that. Thank you. Yeah, so and I know you're working hard, man, on whatever you're doing. So yeah, it's been crazy. So right now, like I said about networking with other companies, I want to give a shout out to Bailey at Baywolf. Make sure you follow her on Instagram. The Wolfpack, I'm not sure if you guys have heard about that. The Wolfpack is sort of like a network of companies, and it's an event where you can what is it? It's like basically Bailey, the way she set it up is she helps other companies market and get their brand out there, whether it be via the United States or globally. It could be CBD companies, THC companies, companies like us, just cannabis lifestyle brands, you name it. It's just a networking event, so that way people can get to know each other and also network and make those connections, because we're all in this industry. We all want a piece of that pie, man. I know it's a big industry. it's like a multi-billion-dollar industry if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everybody wants to get in on it, including other companies like the tobacco industry and the beer industry. I know that they're interested in it as well. There's even cannabis beer now.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. And CBD's infused into everything.
Everything. There's
nowadays,
CBD
I swear.
coffee. We got to get some CBD coffee going on, something
Yeah,
like
I know,
that.
yeah.
We got to get some sort of sponsorship or something, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is cool. I mean, talking about cannabis, it's something I'm passionate about. You know, whether we're talking about personal or professional. Well, let's go into personal a little bit. Let's tell a
Okay.
little bit of story about ourselves. Shoot. Well, I'm gonna ask you, Robert, what was the first time you smoked? Let's talk about that experience.
Well, I managed to make it about 21 years of my life without with actually, you know, to be honest, like I had a negative kind of stigma against marijuana, cannabis, and users, you know, people that smoked. You know, I ran a lot and I came from kind of like a little uppity high school, I guess. So
Yeah.
people were like, oh, drugs, it's bad. You know, there's nobody there to like influence the other way, right?
Right.
So you know, even through college and all that kind of stuff, very against alcohol, against marijuana, everything, you name it.
Yeah.
And then you
Oh man, I already know where this is going.
Gabe came along. You know, and it wasn't even like anything crazy. It's just like, you know, you used occasionally and all that, and then said like, you want to try?
Yeah.
And at first I was like, no, it's all right. But eventually came around and was like, okay, I'll try.
Yeah.
And it was kind of crazy that first time.
Yeah.
I thought like, you know, you needed like one or two uses before it like really like you would get high and stuff like that. But man, that first time,
man,
it was a nice bong rip.
Yeah, man, you took a fat rip, man. That cloud was white for sure.
I didn't know what I was doing. I just literally like all these people were surrounding me. And then I think you were the one that was actually lighting the bowl.
Yep.
And you're just like, all right, just keep sucking. And then I'm like, okay. And then you pulled it out. It's like, all right, like you're finishing a race, you know, everything you got. Like, okay. And then just, I was gone.
It was over from there, bro.
That was the end.
Man, that was wild.
That was the end of that night, but a beautiful beginning.
I know, man. I mean, think about it. If you hadn't taken that rip, I don't think we'd be here today.
No,
man,
I don't think
it's crazy how cannabis has changed your life, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed my life too, though. It's definitely. I used to share the same stigma, you know, with the idea of, oh, cannabis is bad, and you know, once you start it, you're gonna be the whole stigma of a lazy stoner who doesn't do much,
or that it's a gateway drug.
Yeah.
All that.
Mm-hmm. I really bought into that. I don't know why, but maybe my parents just distilled that into me. But actually, it's funny. The first time I actually smoked was with my mom when I was 16. Yeah.
No way.
Yep. At a Christmas party. It was crazy.
What like how did that come up?
Well, honestly, it was also the first time I drank. And, you know, when my family was bringing it up, I remember I was a little buzzed. And then I was in the backyard looking for my whole family, and I was like, where is everybody? So I walk out to the front and I see a circle of just family members there, and I don't remember. It's dark. And then I come up, hey, what's going on? My mom was next to me, and she was like, here, put this in your mouth, light this, hold on, let go of your thumb, and inhale and exhale. I said, okay. Didn't really know what I was doing. I don't even know if I got it right, but I remember lighting something, doing it exactly what my mom said, and I was high. And then I think it had gone, like 4 or 5 years went by before I smoked again. I remember now. I was actually outside Wabagrill, back where I used to work, my old job. Man, one of my coworkers was like, hey, you want to smoke? And I just said, yeah, well, might as well, just out of the blue. Let me try it. I was so stuck, bro. I was sitting there in his car, stuck on a light pole for like 30 minutes. I kid you not. I was just staring at it like, dude, what's going on? It's like, you're high, bro. You're just stuck. And then it was over from there, man. It was crazy.
Was that like on a lunch break, or was that after work?
After work, we closed.
Okay.
Yeah. But I knew like 30 minutes
at the entire lunch.
But you know, there are a lot of people who smoke during the jobs. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I knew this one guy named Brooklyn, he would always work, always be high. You could smell it, you know? And it's crazy how like before when you didn't smoke as much, the smell would bother me. But once I started smoking, it was like, it's like a air freshener to me almost. I'm like, ooh, it smells good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I actually told somebody at CVS today, I smelled it on him and I told him, hey, you smell good, man. But I didn't realize how it came across. It came across like I was hitting on him.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was like, what? I'm like, oh, I'm talking about the loud. It's another lingo for cannabis.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, oh, thanks, bro. And just talking about that, you know, it's just it's like saying, hey, how's your day going? You know,
Yeah.
just by knowing people smoke, you could build a connection so easily. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, with our, like I was saying, another way how we want to spread our purpose is through our apparel. So you see these shirts we got on right here. I see you got the black one. I got the white one.
Oh yeah.
We got to put new line of apparel out, but we're going to be uploading a website soon. When that comes up, we'll let you know on the next couple podcasts, and hopefully you guys could get some shirts and looking like us, you know?
Oh yeah.
That'd be cool. But yeah, man. I mean, it's so great. We're based in OC.
Southern California.
Anybody who wants to come out here, come over here. The palm trees are nice, you know.
Weather's good.
Weather's always good, man. That's the thing. I'm originally from San Bernardino, so coming out here, it's just weather's always been nice, you know. Always been. But you've lived out here most of your life, huh?
Yeah.
Nah, so you're used to that. You're spoiled to the weather.
No. I travel, so I know what bad weather's like. At least hot and humid. That's usually where I go to, but
Yep. Man. So shoot, maybe we should talk to him about how socials came about, you know, everything that started. I think we said we started April of last year.
Yeah.
You know, but we really started talking in about December. That's when the first sort of pitch came out, or the idea.
Yeah.
I remember we were talking about pre-rolls. That's what we were talking about, and how,
because it was going to be legalized for 2018.
Yeah,
think, right?
It was when California, the first year of legalization. We were talking about it, and we were talking about dispensaries and how they don't normally sell 3-packs. How we wanted to do that and make sure we get that going. But I think once we were talking about it, we were coming in as sort of like, oh, how can we make money? But then we switched it as to, okay, we can be one of those companies that are just about making money, or we can be the company that cares about the cannabis community. And I think taking that route has definitely shaped us and made us realize, like, hey, cannabis isn't just like a business, it's a lifestyle. You know, people,
not a product.
Exactly. It's not. It's more than that. And people think that this whole controversy of legalization, they're trying to figure out how to treat it like a product, whether it's similar to alcohol or similar to food. You know, I feel like there's a lot of controversy on that, but we got to think of it more like a medicine, I think. You know, I think that whether it be medicinal or even on the recreational side, I think there's a lot of reasons as to why cannabis can benefit people without having a diagnostic. You know, like me personally, I don't have any issues as far as anxiety or depression or anything like that. Luckily, I know there's a lot of people battling that, and that's sort of why people come to CBD and THC rather than opioids. For me, though, it's been more of a personal thing. Like sometimes I'll get nervous. You know, I'm good at talking to people, but when I'm high, it's a whole nother level. I could talk to anybody about anything, and it just elevates me to be more positive. You know, I think that's what getting high means for me. But what about you, man? What do you think?
I mean, for me, in the very beginning, it was just like, let's get high. Let's like, you know, let's just get stoned in the couch, you know, just, you know, let's like chase those feelings. Right.
Yeah.
But I think that was just kind of like my like honeymoon period, I guess you could say, with cannabis. And that, you know, after a while I was like, you know, if I start my day like this, like, I'll be honest, I'm not as productive because because I'll hit hard and then that's it. Right. Whereas like, because my tolerance level is low for like me personally. So if I start out and I'm getting hit hard, then like I'm not going to be functioning like really productive, being able to do whatever needs to get done for hours and hours. Right. So I moved more towards like the evenings. All right. You know, if I'm kind of like antsy, something like that, take a couple puffs, easier to sleep, you know. And then because I don't want to be up late and then I have to wake up early and I like miss that sleep, or now I'm sleeping in because I was up late and then my day's all kind of messed up, right? So, um, but occasionally I'll just be kind of like stressed. I wouldn't say I get to like the point of anxiety, but I'll get to the point where I'm just like, like something's bothering me, right? And so, just a couple like draws off of a pre-roll or joint, and
You're
kind of
chilling.
reset, and like I don't get into like any kind of cloud. I'm not tripping anything, nothing. But I just kind of like reset that way. And then, I wouldn't really call myself a power user or anything like that. But I just use and enjoy.
Yeah. I will say at first, like I was using it very heavily. There was a point in time where I was smoking every day, all day, every day. I mean, we know people who have smoked before the practice, after practice, before weights, all that kind of thing. And a part of that, I think honestly, people do need to, it's sort of like anything in life. Like you need to see where your limits are as far as your cannabis use and see what works for you and what doesn't,
Find
but
that balance.
exactly.
Because again, it's the lifestyle, being part of your lifestyle without being the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think part of finding that balance is learning how to go over that balance and taking too much. And the good thing is though, cannabis can't kill you. That's
Hmm.
just the great thing is like
Hmm.
worst case scenario, you're gonna be very high for quite a significant amount of time. Nothing too crazy, like 6 hours or so, less than that for sure. But the experience you get, you'll realize, hey, maybe this works for me. Maybe the smoking this much works for me. Sometimes it doesn't, There's cannabis influencers who can smoke all day, every day, take dabs. You've seen it on
Hmm.
Instagram.
Hmm.
And I mean, props to them. Their tolerance is high, But for me, I think I've sort of learned is I like to smoke when my priorities are done. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So once work's done, or sometimes I like to do it if I have to do like daily chores. That helps me
Hmm.
too. It just helps get it out the way, makes it
Hmm.
more fun. But yeah, other than that, I'm like you now, like session sleep. That's definitely what I like. I'll only wake and bake maybe if I know I have nothing to do throughout the day. Like
Right.
if I
Right.
know I have a chill day where I'm gonna plan to smoke, then I'll make sure I don't have much to do. But yeah, and I think you mentioned how it's a good stress reliever.
Hmm.
Definitely, man. If I'm having like not necessarily a tough day, but if I notice that I'm like really stressed lately, that'll help relax me and help smooth out things of any issue.
Yeah.
Definitely helps out a lot, man. Cannabis can just definitely improve your lifestyle. And even for people who don't smoke, the people who don't smoke and accept people who smoke, I think that those guys should be praised. Those men and women have definitely, just accepting that idea is pushing us into a new era.
Yeah. Yeah.
This whole era of cannabis eventually is going to be legal federally. Eventually. You
Yeah.
can't tell me in 20 years from now it's not going to be.
No, the writing's on the wall.
Exactly. It's just a matter of time, and with that time, it gives us a chance to establish who we are as a brand, and it gives people a chance to accept what's going to happen in society. You know what I mean? So especially because there are a lot of things going on. I know right now in the legality, there's a lot of controversy. For example, on April 5th, 2019, LA Times published an article talking about California cities that are going to sue. They're suing the state over a delivery service bill. So what happened was, um, California recently passed a new bill in the cannabis community where delivery services can deliver to any city all of California.
Hmm.
So let's say, for example, the delivery service based here in, let's say, Fullerton, and somebody gets a call in Downey and they want specific medications from that. The city of Downey actually banned cannabis sales recreationally. So that is actually technically illegal for that delivery service to come in and sell to that particular patient in Downey,
Hmm.
which sucks because, you know, a lot of people need their medication. And
Hmm.
I feel like these cities that are suing, a lot of them are, I mean, we'll give you examples. Covina, Downey, Riverside, and Beverly Hills are just 80% of the cities that are suing the state because they banned recreational sales when the original legality of California came in. And I think that based off that, I don't know, I just feel like California needs to get their ducks in a row, because there's so many controversial laws that are being passed, and it doesn't make sense when these cities ban this and then you can deliver there. And it's just creating a lot of tension, and it's going to force people to just, say, you know what, the hell with this, It
Yeah.
sucks, but hopefully California could get their ducks in a row.
I mean, I'd be curious. Now, I haven't like looked into it at all, but what if there is a precedent that's been set in like Washington, Colorado, or a state that like came in before California? And I know that like, I mean, California, politically speaking, like there's a lot of diversity, right? In a state like Colorado, I think that they're also kind of split. Um, but you look at like Washington and it's a lot more like liberal up there, right? So, and geographically, they're not as big. So, you have like, rural areas of California that are like super, super red, that like we do not want anything to do with cannabis, no sales, use, delivery, nothing like that. And then you have like San Francisco that has actual like shops that you can go and smoke in, lounges. I think there's like 5 of them there. Oakland has one, something like that. And Palm Springs, I think, is going to get one soon.
Oh yeah.
And you see like this stratification because you have polar opposites in California, and you can you can have deliveries from one of these cities to another. And that's a huge issue. I wonder like if those issues are the same in Colorado, in Washington, and if like they've tried to figure that out already.
Yeah, I do wonder that. That's actually a good point you bring up, man. I mean, I don't know. I got to look into that, but I definitely think that whatever's working in Colorado and Oregon, well, with Oregon, I know that they're dealing with a lot of issues in the price of the low price per gram. Like it's coming out to like $4 per gram, and a lot of farmers are dealing with issues there because they can't make much money off that. When you're selling at $4 a gram, you do that in bulk, you're talking like $1 per gram type thing they're selling. That's not a lot. I mean, that if you think per pound, that's going to be about $450 per pound. That's not a lot. It's very low. So it's hard for the farmers to make money, especially when they're getting taxed. But yeah, like the states like Washington, Colorado, I think those are good templates to look for. And like you said, with the diversity of California, I feel like that's sort of why there's a lot of issues. And with the licenses, it's definitely hard to get a license right now. Definitely. I mean, we've had our fair share of red tape we've had to come across, and we're barely in the beginning stages of it.
Yeah, that's why we're here doing podcasts and
Exactly.
not selling anything.
Exactly. It makes sense.
It's too difficult.
Yeah.
Especially with it being illegal federally, that we can't go to a bank for a loan or anything like that. I mean, kind of backtracking a little bit, talk about socials. Because we actually wanted to sell cannabis, right? We wanted to do the pre-rolls, the multi-packs. But for 2 guys that at the time were in college, we didn't have any money to to buy product, to go through all the legal hurdles and whatnot. I mean, just trying to navigate that on your own is impossible, and you're probably going to get caught up in stuff. So it's pretty much necessary to get a lawyer. Can't afford a lawyer.
We need the Pot Brothers
we're
attorney.
Not financial aid.
We need those Pot Brothers at attorney. They are doing big things, man. Based in OC too. I know that they were. I believe they were at Kush Stock Festival. They were on stage doing their whole.
I saw that.
Their pot script. I love that script, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's just. I'm not discussing my day.
Yeah. Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Hey, then you shut the F up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yup, man, I love those guys. Hopefully we get them on the podcast. That'd be great to talk to them. That would be cool. Some nice. But yeah, so let's talk about what we've done as a company, I guess. So a couple events. We've gone to some events, one of them being High LBC based in Long Beach. I know Bevel, the marketing group, they are doing big things. They're bringing in a lot of companies. It gives legal companies a chance to express who they are and show people in the city of Long Beach. Long Beach is creating a really good community, whether it be cannabis or just a community in general. They're building a really good base there. So I think that that event was so much fun, man. I mean, Trees by Game was there. Lowell Farms was there. Timeless Terps. Cavi Cones. Big brands were all there. Another event we went to was, like I said, the Wolfpack Live event. We were interviewed on Wolfpack Live by Mommy Jane. She's a great influencer. She's done a lot of podcasts, done a lot of interviews. Definitely somebody I think we should get on here and talking about cannabis. She has so much on cannabis,
Mm-hmm.
and especially in the balance of life. A lot of people are talking about how it works for them, how it helps them balance it. And I think if we could get them on and talking about it, it would be something great,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. Another event we've gone to. What else have we done? The CGN Cannabis Girls Network. That was a great event. It was like it was crazy, man. It was a social where a bunch of companies were there, expressing who they are, giving them a chance to show their audience where they're from. There was also like a runway where Mary Jane Runway. They showcase all their clothing and apparel. That's something we could get on. That'd be cool, throwing
Yeah.
our apparel on. But yeah, it was a great event. Met a lot of big influencers. Lexi June was one of the biggest ones,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Her and Blazing Barista, they're a great duo. Man, when we got to see Lexi try our pre-roll, that was like,
Yeah.
dude, that was a big accomplishment. That was a big accomplishment. She was somebody I was looking forward to. I remember when we first started, we wrote on the board that she was like our number one like potential,
It's like the A-list
yeah, the
influencer.
A-list of who we wanted to get in touch with, and we got that done. Um, Definitely, I think down the line, what we have going is, like I said, our apparel, these podcasts, just networking with other companies, continuing that, and just maintaining our status in the cannabis company and in the cannabis community and letting people know, like, hey, we're here to market you guys, market ourselves,
Bring news.
bring news. Yeah, just learn as much as we can. And I feel like this cannabis community is very important to us. I think to me personally, this cannabis community has helped me feel like a secondary sense of home, something I can feel comfortable with expressing who I am. Sometimes it's hard. I actually haven't told most of my family that I consume cannabis. Sort of
Yeah,
some,
honestly, me neither.
yeah, like it's sort of like your cannabis closet in a sense, like coming out of that. And I've told my parents, which was hard enough as it is, like that was pretty tough, but they're okay with it. They understand that, I'm trying to make this a part of my lifestyle. Well, it is a part of my lifestyle, and just trying to let them know, like, hey, you're my life, you're my family, and this is also part of my life. And, I'm glad they accepted it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that that's something people are gonna eventually gonna start coming out more so on,
Mm-hmm.
just letting their family know. I know a lot of my friends, they don't really tell their family
Yeah.
as well. They all sort of keep it on the hush hush. And that's sort of like that black and white. That's sort of why our apparel is black and white, because right now cannabis is sort of a black and white thing right now. It's either you do it and or you don't, you know. But we want to bring cannabis into the light of society and show people, hey, this isn't as bad as what you think. We can break this stigma as long as we talk about it. Eventually, we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here. Man, so, but what was I going to say? Hang on. I'm trying to think. I had a question at the top of my head. I was going to ask you, man. Oh, where do you see us in a year from now?
Honestly, a year from now, we'll be at podcast 53.
Ooh, nice,
So,
nice. Yep.
Once a week. And I think we're just pushing the culture, pushing the community, and just being part of it. I think that being genuine is like the um,
Definitely.
biggest aspect of our brand, right? Be genuine about like cannabis and talk about it and don't be afraid to, right? I know it sounds a little what's the word? I can't think of the word.
It's all good, man. We all get stuck.
Oh, a little hypocritical. We say, don't be afraid to talk about it, but then we don't talk about it a lot.
Right,
right. To people that we know might judge
True.
and all that. Because I've found that cannabis users are some of the most open-minded, welcoming people on earth.
Honestly,
whether or not they know that you are a smoker yourself, or or whether, like you're cheating with them or anything like that. But they're just, I don't
Yeah.
know. I've never like really run across somebody that's like, nah, like,
Yeah.
it's a very welcoming community.
Definitely. You know what? You know what we should talk about? I was thinking about it. I was thinking like, okay, there's different ways to smoke, right? There's papers, joints, blunts,
Mm-hmm.
hemp wraps. There's glass, like bongs. There's dabs, wax, and edibles. Even like tinctures and oils. I was thinking like, what makes the pre roll and the papers so powerful? I feel like whenever I have uh, a session or a sesh with somebody and we're smoking a blunt or a pre roll, it's always more in depth. I don't know why. Like with bongs, it can get like that too, but with papers, it's just I feel like the smoke or something just entices me to be more expressive.
I mean, just the way I'm thinking about that is, sorry, I got the burp.
You good? You good? You good?
The way that I'm thinking about that is, you have your bong or whatever, and it could be, like a short little guy. It could be, some 2-3 foot guy, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time, like those hits you're taking out of a bong, like those are rips. Those are gonna be fatter. Those are like you're gonna take less, like fewer actual hits off of a bong than you are off of a joint.
Right.
So you're passing back and forth a lot more. I think it's that passing, passing the baton, passing the torch,
Oh yeah.
that's it creates a little bit more of a sense of like community. For lack of a better term.
Right, right. Yeah. It definitely helps build that relationship and it gives the people so let's say like you pass me the pre-roll and I'm hitting it, that gives you an opportunity to speak on whatever the conversation is or to
Mhm.
control the conversation. And then once I pass it back or once I'm hitting it, that gives me time to think about what you're saying. Then I'll exhale, pass it back to you and
Mhm.
continue that conversation.
It's very diplomatic.
Oh yeah. And it's crazy because, cannabis to me, the plant itself, it symbolizes peace, unity, respect. Um, I think just overall positivity. It's hard to be mad when you're high, honestly. Like for me, it's hard to get in an argument when I'm high. Or if I'm mad, sometimes cannabis calms me down, you know? I definitely think that the world could use some positivity right now, man.
Yeah.
2019 is just crazy, man.
Yeah.
Definitely
Maybe
crazy.
that's why they're starting to legalize it. They're like, man, we gotta do something.
Yeah. They're like, something ain't adding up, man. Yeah, so definitely I think that cannabis can improve a whole lot of people's lives. And it's already improving people's lives,
Mhm.
whether on the medical side with everything and how it helps children with autism, it helps cancer survivors or even people who are in cancer or have cancer right now. It's definitely an alternative treatment to help with the chemo and stuff like that.
Or just pain in general. With
Oh
all like the
yeah.
CBD like oils and lotions and whatnot.
Yeah.
I know like me and my mom haven't had a conversation about like that I've used before or anything like that. But she actually mentioned like, oh, I tried like CBD oil, and she swears she swears she got high off of it.
So
But I mean, like I know I'm pretty sure like you can't. I don't
no,
think you
not
can
with
get high off
CBD. It's
that.
non-psychoactive,
Right.
but with she'll definitely feel in her terms as high because she's never gotten high before
Mhm.
probably. So her body feels that high,
Yeah.
But
But like what I was getting at though is like that she's somebody who's very against like cannabis,
really,
right? But I mean, growing up at least. But now it seems like she was offered some oil because like her wrists or hands were hurting, I guess at work. And one of her coworkers was like, "Hey, like I have this like oil for it was her husband got prescribed it or something like that, and it really helped him. So she's like, you should just try it." And so she tried it, and she said it helped a lot. She's like, "Oh, I wasn't productive at work at all," but I was like, "It's all
oh
in your head,
man,
mom. That's all in your head."
right? Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that I think CBD is like a big opportunity for the cannabis community to kind of work its way into like normalization
Oh yeah.
for, people like my mom that's just like, I just have chronic pain in my hands. Okay, CBD, look how great that this totally natural, element is versus whatever kind of pain medications you have to be taking, Tylenol or aspirin or all that kind of stuff. I've never been big on
Pharmaceuticals.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
me
I
neither.
try to stay away from that kind of stuff. And um I feel like CBD is a great alternative for people like me who are against that,
Right.
or not totally fond of it.
Right. I definitely think that what you said about making sure or normalizing it, I think that CBD is definitely the front runner there because of all the medicinal benefits that you can get while not being high. Because of the stigma is still on being high and the THC and the psychoactive,
Mhm.
because that's where they think that, it messes with your head, helps with brain memory loss, so on and so forth. And that comes
Yeah.
with all the list of the stigma.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, CBD is pushing that route and normalizing it. My thing is like, with that being said, do you think that THC will ever be normalized then after that, or how do you think that process will work to normalize THC into
I think there's probably always going to be some kind of stigma, at least if THC is associated with smoking.
right?
Because we have this whole industry that's against tobacco and smoking and vaping and all that kind of stuff, right? So smoking for THC and to get high, that's going to be lumped in with that. And I mean, in my head at least, it makes sense, right? Like I'm not the biggest fan of like putting smoke into my lungs, and that's why edibles are so nice.
And that's crazy because, like, for me, I don't like edibles. I'm like, edibles have never really worked for me. I do enjoy the smoking aspect, not necessarily. Yeah, and all actually, I will say, yeah, I do enjoy more the smoking. I do like bong rips and lighting the blunt, the process of rolling the blunt. So I feel like there's that wide spectrum of people in this community, like how you have person A, like your mom, and then you have person B like you, and you have person C like me, and then you have like person D, somebody who's like, you know, smoking all day, every day, taking dabs, wax pen hits, smoking anything and everything. So there's that wide spectrum, and it's sort of hard. You can't really fit people into this box of cannabis
Yeah,
users,
yeah, yeah.
because there's various ways.
There's a big umbrella, but under that umbrella is so many different types of people.
Exactly.
That's like, I mean, it's literally like saying like that all people that drink milk are the same.
Right.
I mean, like, I don't know if that's a good example.
Or even you could even say alcohol. So like with alcohol,
Okay, yeah.
like a lot of people drink alcohol. Everybody drinks alcohol, but some people drink a lot and some people will have like one. But you never really have people explaining why they're drinking. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's will say, oh, celebratory way or so on and so forth, whatever reason may be. But normally they don't need a reason to drink. So why is it that people need a reason to smoke?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
why
yeah.
is it if somebody's smoking or consuming cannabis for CBD purposes, for medicinal purposes, that's their reason. And I feel like because the stigma is so hard, people have to have a good reason to smoke. And that kind of hurts the people like myself where I don't need a reason to smoke. I want to because it benefits my life. And that's sort of that boundary, or that can lead to frustration between people who like it and people who still have that stigma and hold it upon people. It's just it's crazy. It's so weird. Cannabis is just there's so many benefits, yet the stigma is just what's holding us back from it being legal and from so many other benefits in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all right, to take like a bit of a devil's advocate, right?
Uh-huh.
Because we don't want to just preach like the same, just like beat it into people. People that are listening to this probably agree with us, right?
Right.
So I think that to try to be as like inclusive as possible, like we should try to talk about the other side.
Right.
Why people
I think
aren't for it. And I think like what I wanted to get into right there was that,
Mhm.
you know, there's like safety concerns with it. There's overuse and affecting like children,
Right.
right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because there's for as many of the positives that we can list out,
There are
that it's
negatives.
helping adults with this. There's been studies that show like that children, like their brains are negatively affected by it because they're still developing and whatnot.
Right, right. Yeah, definitely. And then not only that, there could be like reasons as far as it could be as simple as the smell. I know a lot of people who just don't simply like the smell. They're cool with people smoking,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't like the smell of it. Just the
Mm-hmm.
smell alone can, if you don't smoke, and I honestly can understand that.
Yeah.
You know, I got to be empathetic and understand that that is an issue. You know, not everybody likes the smell. It's like the smell of cigarettes. I hate the smell of cigarettes, but I
Mm-hmm.
love the smell of cannabis. But other reasons, like you said, children, driving. I think smoking while you're high. No, for me, I think that you should never drive under the influence. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, you
Yeah.
shouldn't.
And
But
we're not advocating for anybody
no, no.
to do anything like that.
Um, yeah. So I think that it's just so hard to when someone is high and you test them. THC stays in your body for a month, so it's
Yeah.
hard to tell when that person smoked, whether it be 5 minutes before or 5 days before they got in that
Mm-hmm.
car. And I think that that's an area that's going to be an issue down the line as far as DUIs and stuff like that.
And I think, and uh, I recently heard that a lot of employers are having to get rid of drug testing because marijuana is now illegal, or now marijuana is now legal in California. So people technically can consume, right? But if they drug test somebody, oh, are you high at work? We're gonna drug test you. Okay, well, is that from you smoking on your lunch break, or is that from you smoking,
Like 3 weeks ago.
like yeah,
Yeah.
like over the weekend or something
Yeah.
like that?
Definitely.
And it's create like that causes problems too.
And another thing is like they don't know if they're testing with CBD. CBD doesn't pop up on drug tests because it's legal.
Hmm.
They are looking for THC. So that's sort of the issue there too, is like, okay, if you smoke CBD, you should be good for drug tests. But let's say it does pop up like it's CBD,
Hmm.
it's technically legal. But yeah, I think to wrap things up, next time we definitely want to get a guest going on. We don't know who that's going to be, but whoever it is, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We'll be in touch. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Let us know any comments, concerns, or anything like that.
Yeah, if there's anything that you guys want covered or talked about, discussed,
Hit us up on Instagram or on YouTube or WeTube, whatever we're on.
yeah,
We'll be in contact as much as we can.
yeah. If people have, if people want to, kind of argue against us, if you agree, if you disagree, like we want to discuss that on the podcast so we get as
Definitely.
many perspectives as possible.
Definitely. All right. Well, here you have it. I'm Gabe.
I'm Rob.
And thank you for watching the Socials Podcast.
We'll see you again next time.
Yep.